Peace reflection. So there are many different things that we hear within what they want to classify as a spiritual community, which is just one of many titles that are put on top of life. You could say religion, you can say spiritual, you could say conscious, you can say science, you can say whatever. And whenever you put a word on something, you're putting it within the box of what already exists outside of that word. So this is why I say things like I don't believe in mental illness, because whatever depression is exists before they try to box into that word, which is really their best theory to try to encapsulate what the real energy of that thing is, right? And words are useful, right, when you use them in the right way and your mind is open. I'm not saying we don't need words to be able to identify things, because it is to be that the way the universe works, depression actually does encapsulate whatever that energy is. However, you have to see that the thing itself is not the word of depression. Depression is placed upon that word. So you have to go into the source of what it actually is itself and feel the energy of whatever it is. That goes with anything, right? So many of the words are just things we talk about beyond words, right? Because we speak through the words, but we're speaking about ideas, concepts. A lot of us are trying to spread truth. It's deeper than ideas and concepts. What I'm saying is you can see and sense the state of consciousness that someone speaks from. Many people are in a mimicking state of consciousness within the so-called spiritual community, where we lost a lot of our heads and we aren't even supposed to have heads, and that's why we keep failing, because we keep putting all the energy on one person or a few people, when it is that the whole point is awakening. And this is what Yahshua, not the white man Jesus, but this is why he was killed, because he was literally awakening you to the power in you, which takes away any control of centralized power outside of yourself. Religion is about literally trying to control your natural source of God. Jesus, the real Jesus, Yahshua, the black man God, the black God, he was against all religion to begin with, and then they use his soul to because he was a very powerful soul, so they use his soul to magnetize you and a lot of us to that religion that killed him. The very people who killed him, the very people of this world within the ego that operate under Satan, the god of this system. He's not the god of this world, but Satan is the god of this system, which is why he says he's the god of this world, because he's the god of this matrix concrete system built on this world, of this temporary control they had within these 500 years of their initial invasion in 1492, when they came to our planet and portals in the Caucasus Mountains. The real reason these human beings are called Caucasian in their most elevated form with the white man, because that's Zeus's greatest creation, that's Satan's greatest creation. And then he has variants that they even treat like shit within their human species of the Arabians, the fake Mexicans, because there's real Mexicans which are carbonated and you can tell who's who, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the real indigenous beings of that land, because every landmass has us. So every single landmass, even Australia, was filled with what they would call black people or Latino people, but really it's carbon in our skin, and that comes from us coming from nature. And carbon is the molecule of life, and this is going to tie into what I'm talking about with the upload I received of NeuroMelanin. We are carbonated beings because we are literally life itself. So when we manifest into the physical form, because we are life itself, the consciousness of life itself that all life around us has derived from, for we are the ultimate creator. These human beings create within physical energy, within the physical realm we came from the physical resources we gave them. But we crafted everything within soul plane. So we crafted with the energy itself and put everything into the form to embody itself. So we put the tree in the image, the same way they can manifest, because they think up things, but they think within the physical, because they're physical beings, but that's a low form of the soul we are, because we're the soul before the body. My species are the soul. That's why we're gods to begin with, because God is just a form within this physical world that they created to try to place upon us. And there's many words that existed before God. You just give all your energy to these words, and that's why I do so much to break down these titles to free your mind, because you would give all this power to this language and then use logic to find the source of everything else, but not find the source of the word God, to use logic to say, okay, we haven't seen the white man God they talk about, so let me actually try to wake up myself and find the source of it. It came from the source of natural white man here that came up with their concept of that word through their English language. That's logic. We use logic for everything else to find the real truth of everything else. We can find the real truth of who made the Bible, for example. It was human beings within King James, a psychopath, who written that Bible, and all the energy within the after initial wave of King James, because he's the one who ushered that energy within Zeus, because it's really just a form of Zeus getting you to praise him, who disguised himself as Satan, and he's really just a soul. We are souls. So he's one of the souls who's always been here. Soul is a piece of life, living. So we have been here since the beginning of creation, because we are creation. And particularly the black woman is creation herself, because before we call her a woman and before there was a man to compare her to, the feminine is source. The feminine is creation itself. The feminine is pure creation. And it's where everything springs from. It's the womb. It's the birth. So the woman, what they would manifest within the title of woman here is the manifestation of life without even the masculine counterpart, which then she creates after herself, right? And because we are life itself creating ourselves, when we materialize within this plane, we have what they call carbon. Carbon, if you look it up right now, it is the molecule of all life. The molecule of all life. It says everything has carbon within it. That is a lie. Everything does not have carbon within it. But I would say a lot of things do, because it derives from us. Carbon is a life molecule. But we are carbonated beings, so we are life itself. So when we incarnate, we have carbon in our skin, and we have ether, antennas that grow when these human beings have a lower form of everything we are. So they have hair. It doesn't channel any electricity. It's dead. It's straight. It's just fur. Us, we have coils that channels on the sun. We are a higher technology being. We are a whole higher expressive evolutionary form that has been corrupted through being placed in an environment and molded through images and molding our minds of putting all these images. And so they got us living like them. They're literally programming our minds. So it's the television, the society, the culture, to where they have us wearing all these clothes, this cloth, living in this human type way, boxed into their modern day caves called houses within this concrete dead electricity. But we are electrical beings that feed on life. So as soon as we step outside, you feel that energy in the air, and you cannot deny it. That is ether. And just like the plant, when it is pulled out of the soil, it starts to wither and die. We are the thing that created the plant kingdom itself. The plant's modeled after us. That's the true truth, because before we come in a body, we are in the soul plane. So we designed this whole planet within the soul plane, and then when we created our avatars within the species we wanted to incarnate to, within the Anunnaki God Atlantean species, we are nature-based. We are fully nature, because before there was a word of nature to place on it, it's just what the planet is, and we arise from the planet. We arise from the soil. So doesn't it make sense that our body is made of the same thing that the planet is? And it's like everything's out of whack now, so we're acting in a backward state, to where the guy's eating our animals, ripping up the soil, destroying the planet, right? But within the harmony, balance of everything, within the divine ecosystem, which nature shows you how everything has a place, a role, and a way to flow within the cycle that should not be disrupted, because it's how everything stays in balance, right? It's a natural flow. We're the only thing out of whack, and really it's not us, it's these human beings which came and then put the whole equilibrium of the planet out of whack, because they don't have a soul, and they were just here with an artificial creation. So it's like they were just artificially created and sprung out to then start like being like this lost rogue species that was just like out of tune with their environment and ego dominant, and they don't have a soul. So this is why they just started ripping apart all the environment, operating within this physical ego, resources, all these lower vibrations, corrupted, possessed with greed, horrible treatment of us, being able to do horrible, foul, heinous, brutal, disgusting shit. Because if you research them, they've done the most foul, psychopathic, disgusting, genocidal shit. These so-called white people. And it's not all of them, and it isn't a race thing, but when we get into genetics, we could start to piece everything together. But the thing is, we're battling our own self, so do not ever let that fool you within being pulled into this physical way of coding things, because that's how people get pulled into superiority and ego and losing their way. And like, this world is very tricky, and Zeus is very tricky, and it's all mental warfare. So the same people waking up, we could lose ourselves, and you have to always try to put yourself in balance. Don't ever think you're above everything, or start to be pulled into thinking you're bigger than the old, or because that's Zeus feeding the ego in you. He's going to try to find any way to corrupt any of us, right? I said to say, there's no race war, there's no place I need to speak from of judging the physical appearance, because it's about the energy within you. You have to be in the present moment with anything to feel it within the present moment without pre-placed judgment, because when you're pre-calculating something, you're not allowing the thing in front of you to be what it is. You literally don't know what it is. Anything could appear within the appearance of anything. So there could be a very high vibrational angelic spirit that appears in the vessel of a human being, because human beings have a spirit. They don't have a soul, but they're the spirit. But so, with all this being said, so-called Black Latino people, our real name is Anunnaki gods and goddesses, and we are the universe itself. So when we materialize, this is why we have carbon, but we also call it NeuroMelanin. And the reason it's called NeuroMelanin is because what is neuro? Anything called neuro has to deal with the brain, right? Neurochemistry, neurology, neuroplasticity, right? Your neurons. This all has to deal with the brain. Anytime you hear that word neuro, right? Neurology, right? So when you hear the word NeuroMelanin, naturally you should start to associate the word neuro with pre-context clues of it possibly being neurology, right? And when you feel into this deeper, and this is the upload I got, it makes so much sense, because if we manifest from the mind, if we are pure mind, if we are soul, and if the soul is a supreme field of divine intelligence and consciousness, right? And awareness, right? A divine creator that we are. If we're this soul, this mind, right? And we manifest ourselves, and we're the soul before the body, right? And we merely go into this physical suit within one plane of many planes, because these are just avatars. So we can hop into any plane of existence, because we are literally soul. This is why, again, my species are gods, because we are the highest form of intelligence, the highest form of creators that created all of life around us from the pure imagination, the pure stream of pure creation consciousness that we are. All energy. It was all nothing before we started to create. And we didn't create through the physical. I'm saying the same way these human beings can create through the physical within their low vibrational world, we create from the soul. So we create using energy itself, molded into all the forms to put everything in place to function and work. This is what our ancestors did. My ancestors in the cosmos, the true species we come from, that we're merely descendants from, with all this poison they put on us. So we look a little, not unrecognizable, but we're not in our pure form. But we're the descendants. That's truly why we're called descendants, because we literally descended in frequency and descended down into this plane. But in soul, we're Anunnaki gods, period. And that's what makes us what we are, period. So we are the soul. And I'm trying to get us to understand that the soul is life itself, intelligence of life itself, that created everything around it, the highest form of energy itself. So when we manifest into our physical body, this is why we have NeuroMelanin, because it's manifested from our mind. Your neurons. Whatever you think becomes. They disguise it as the word placebo and many other things. But we generate everything through intent, will, and just the energy to do so. For we are energy itself. It's just things move very slowly in this physical plane. But when we drop this physical suit, life is so much beyond this. We're just so gaslighted to not believe it and to doubt it. But I've tapped into so many divine things that shatter everything we've been taught and told. But that's actually many of us within this divine time of 2020, because everything's breaking down. So it's not just me. The energy is here to be very in tuned with if you have the intent. It's like it's right there on the other side. The veil has been so thinned. So the moment you have the want and will to finally wake up, to anyone who is still in a sleep state that has it within them to actually be able to wake up, is very, very, very close to our realm. as in it's basically breaking down the planes of existence, of the dimensions of where the energy is channeling from the Most High of the cosmos, to where it's like such a thin barrier now, to where there's so much energy pouring on the planet. And this is why everything's moving the way it is. They're amping up all this low vibrational fear tactics of this world, of pushing all this like negative physical perception of reality, because they want everything within their low vibrational 3D, like, because that's where we're rising from to begin with, this 3D low vibrational, super low vibrating, where death seems real, where there's lots of fear and just being held down in this very dense low vibrational plane. But when we start to release, we become lighter. We start to warm up in the heat. The heat itself, everything starts to warm up and become lighter. There's more movement in the heat, more activity in the heat. Just now, there's this huge snowstorm, right? The whole planet is dying in the snow. My phone turned off in the snow, and the phone is modeled after my body, right? This is where they get their inspiration to create all their technology, because again, these human beings do not have a soul, so anything they create within this planet is inspired by what's actually in life. And they use us to actually have the blueprint. So a black man made the phone, a black man made the computer, a black man made everything we use and a black woman. Black man, black woman, Latino man, Latina woman. Right? And even deeper than that, though, we are the inspiration, period, as in with this technology. It's literally modeled after the technology of our avatars, because we are electrical beings that connect to the planet, and they literally get electricity from the planet itself, from the soil. We literally don't question our environment, but what the fuck is electricity? It literally comes from the soil. This thing that can power a whole technology that comes from this whole element that only exists in the Congo and Africa, that sounds like a whole script out the fucking movie, because that's what vibranium was inspired by. In Wakanda and Black Panther is inspired by literally talking in your face of the real Black Panther Party, but they call it the superhero now. But then they talk about the X gene in the woman, but the real woman is really the black woman, so that's why they call us the X-Men and the X-Men, and they're really meta-humans, mutants, so that's why Facebook was renamed to Meta, and Twitter was renamed to I can calculate all this. And that's why Zeus is so cocky to step out and create a platform where you worship him called the Zeus Network, because Lucifer works through the airways, and technology is a low vibrational manifestation of our real imagination that exists in our mind, because we communicate telepathically, my species anciently, through the technology and the ley lines in the planet, and through our crystal grids, and just through understanding the ethers around us and being so in tune with the planet herself. So we have imagination, which is the Ethernet, and then they created the internet, and Lucifer works through this Ethernet, right? This internet, rather, should I say, right? And they work through the ethers, the airways, and Zeus and a lot of his energy and the agendas they push through this internet, the social media, the cell phone, encapsulating our souls into this artificial mimic portal reality that exists in this phone, because we don't even question anything we use down to the fucking phone. This phone is like a time travel machine where I can record things that happened in the past and then store them in something they call the cloud. But when I talk about the ether and how there's a data bank in the planet that stores everything that you can tap into, and how there's intelligence in the planet, I'm tripping. And how I say the cosmos is, the heavens is really the cosmos, and my planet comes from the, but they call something called the cloud, which is this cosmic database that just exists, that they can store things in, and then everything that exists within the pocket of the internet that is in this phone is just there for you to always access when you turn on this thing they call a phone. What even is it, and where is it coming from? Where is this reality that exists within the phone coming from? Where is the cloud? Where is the internet coming from? These are the real questions we should be questioning, but they fill us with so much poison and so many pollutants and toxins that we can't even function within ourselves to question our environment or question ourselves, or even feel any, like, we're so dead in so many ways that we don't realize, because we've always, most of us, been in that state. So if you're always in a state of low vibration, then you become numb to the low vibration to a point where you lose touch of what existed outside of it, and you yourself become so affected by that toxic frequency to where it's like blunting you, it's closing you off, you're like shutting down, right? And so this is the state of my people, to where we're like in such a toxic, polluted state, and so much trauma combined with that, and so much fear they push in the planet to just get us to shut down and close off from everything, right? Right? And we're a reflection of the planet itself as well, because we're polluted just like the planet's polluted, right? So all that being combined, it's like my people are in a state to where we don't even have it within us to be able to question our environment, question things around us. Because if you even look into studies of rats who are filled with horrible poison compared to rats who eat what is good for them, there was a whole study conducted, where they took two different rats, and one they like fed, I forgot what I think they fed it all the junk we eat, and the other rat they fed it what a rat should eat, and then the one rat couldn't even find his way out the first part of the maze. He was like going around in circles like he was like retarded. And then the other rat made it out the maze like in a couple seconds, like it was not a couple seconds, but you get what I'm trying to say? Functioning, healthy, but the first rat couldn't even put 1 + 1 together, couldn't put it right from wrong, because it was so fucking polluted. And you think that's just these animals, animals are just a form of life that get affected by what you put in it. If bleach is bleach, anything that drinks bleach is going to have the effects of what bleach is. So if a chemical is this chemical that does what this chemical does, but you're ignorant to it, that's the reality of all this food that you call food. So they trick you into thinking it's this edible thing that you could just eat and have no effect on you. And anything within that food blanket term, it just bypasses this guard that you should naturally have up of what you're putting in your body. Because just inhaling the smoke of something can get you high, can kill you, is affecting your whole body and changing everything about you, right? You're absorbing all the chemicals and everything that exists in that smoke through the medium of putting something within your body, because everything is energy, right? So what do you think's happening when you're literally putting this thing in your mouth and eating and absorbing the whole thing it is and becoming it? You're absorbing it and it's becoming a part of you. This is why they say you are what you eat, because you literally are, because you're living in the body of the energy of what you're putting in you, of the energy that you burn up from the physical energy containers of what you call solid food. Because everything is energy. So really the only reason we eat is just to burn up the energy to begin with, to put it right back up into pure energy. So when we're in a higher vibrational plane, I got the upload just now to connect it even deeper. Our bodies are in a higher vibrational plane, so where right now, because our bodies are in a locked in solid plane from the frozen artificial state they locked our planet in to make the frequency fall and the vibration fall and slow down, because cold is literally the slow of the vibration. Cold is literally the opposite of life. Cold is an artificial invention. That is the creation of what happens when you pull away from source, because source is the sun times 9. Source is pure heat. The heavens is very hot. This is why Black people and Latino people come from the heat, and we are naturally supposed to always be in very hot environments. Our bodies just have to readapt to it if we aren't used to it within these places that have the most cold on our planet. But we're going to naturally get re-in-tuned with that equilibrium of the heat, because that's what we come from. And that's what the whole planet comes from and thrives on. Because if you no matter how much you think cold is real, if you were to see what happens to the planet as soon as they let the heat stay on the planet longer than the fake artificial man-made year cycle, the whole planet would be able to stay alive. So all the planet would start growing all these beautiful fruits and plants again. All the animals would come out again. The whole planet would start to become alive again, right? Because our whole planet is something way more divine than what they told us. And then they put the truth into their movie magic of Disney, for example, where they would tell you this idea of the magic forest. Or when, what's her name, Alice in the Wonderland, she goes down the rabbit hole. Because our planet was literally alive. The nature was literally alive. It said that the trees used to be able to sing out beautiful frequencies. The plants used to move. That's where they get that idea in Jumanji from.
Hey, Dante. Would I be able to give you $5 for a little bit? Because he's not going to be able to come.
Oh, like give it to you now?
Can you give me some now, and I'll give you $5 for it, if you give me some.
Oh, you mean like if I give you a little bit, you give me 5? Mm-hmm. Oh, when is he's coming tonight?
He's not going to be able to, I don't know if still hasn't answered me back. That's the thing. He's going to come tomorrow. He'll most likely come tomorrow morning, but he hasn't answered me back tonight.
I can give you. I can maybe even if you want to buy a little. I'm gonna calculate. I'm recording my video.
Just let me
I
know.
got you because right now my mind's not on it, but I got you.
All right. Thank you.
But so, yeah. I'm channeling into very high vibrational sciences. I'm literally cracking the codes on everything, but I'm doing it with divine permission from the cosmos, from the ancestors. My soul is being allowed into higher access points of knowledge and deeper libraries within the soul planes and higher planes, and just I'm gaining deeper access into deeper levels into the Akashic records. I'm saying this without knowing at all what I'm saying right now, but I just have a feeling of it. So I understand that through the energy work I've been doing, and I say this within divine protection, to where everything I'm saying, I need to be aware that I should only say what is divinely ordained, and I am allowed to say in the sense of I'm speaking for all when I speak out into this plane, and just especially out into this phone. And my biggest weapon is the plane that exists within I, because that is literally the plane that is not this physical plane that my soul is in, but I'm looking through, because I'm only beaming into this body, but my soul, as I speak, is in that plane that we truly come from. And as soon as I drop this body, my soul will see the true plane I'm in. And will see the true body I have, right? But so, when it is that I tap into such a deep level, it is that I can channel something from the energy of understanding just with divine intuition, that it is only with, well, not only because I am source itself, but everything is alive. Everything is alive, so it's like they have it so numb from each other. But when I start to tap into myself and realize that first everything is energy, and I am living energy, I am like energy that's conscious of itself. And so if everything is energy, then I am everything, connected to everything around me, but this divine thing that comes from I don't know, that's alive. So that's the divinity. I'm the divinity, because I'm something that is beaming through this body, that tries to express myself, that always talks about how I'm more than what I am here. I always show expressions of the true energy I am through people giving me all these compliments of how my eyes are, which is the window to my soul. So any compliment you give to my eye, you're seeing literally the energy of my soul beaming through to give any energy. And then just myself. But in general, what I'm getting at is that the being I am cannot be touched or felt, and I myself have always operated from a higher consciousness and connection to myself more than anyone around me, to where I never even identified with my face, and would have to look at my face to remind myself that ego consciousness. And whenever I would look at my face, I would semi-snap back into the energy of operating from, who that person looks like. But I always operate from the literal being I am, speaking through my body, the energy I am. And it's funny because I'm realizing and remembering now that just 10 years ago, the phones and this hyper-awareness reality of us always seeing our own self wasn't even into the reality as much yet. It was just seeping in and being introduced. So back then, things were a lot more pure because people weren't being recorded all the time or thinking they were going to record it. We still were just hanging out to hang out. So it was real energy, real pure energy, which still exists and always will exist. Now we just have to battle this artificial reality of things being recorded within this internet fake realm, because this internet is literally like a mirror reality to our real reality, right? This physical plane is already low vibrational, and then they create an even lower vibrational plane of the internet within this low vibrational plane, because the internet is modeled after the real Ethernet. So they made a physical low vibrational version of the real Ethernet, which is this real airway divine connection of like stream of connection of consciousness of all living beings that are all connected within the source we are, that can communicate through the channels of the air. And the air is just a medium of energy manifested into its own vibrational plane of existence. So water is air, air is fire, Fire is plasma. Like, these are all just forms of the source of energy and its own unique form of expression. The same way we are all one, but we are all a soul within our own unique form of frequency expression, because everything is energy. And this is what makes everything divine, because it's like, how are we even alive? What are we? What am I? And that thing I am is what they call God. And I come from the Most High God that does not have an actual identity. We are the identity of God when we give ourselves an identity of stepping in an avatar. So this is why it is that I say, I am God, but I am not the Most High God, because we literally are the Most High God as well, but we are that within, sprung out of itself. It's like if God is in the center point of right here, where the center of my body is, we're springing out, and we're all the fingers on the outside, connected to the body of the Most High. But we're all connected. All living beings are connected within life. Every living being and all things in general are all connected within energy, and God is the source of energy. God is energy. That's why if you break down the word energy, it's literally energy, because it's inner God, inner gamma. So again, this is why we have NeuroMelanin, when the soul, a piece of the universe itself, the most highest vibrational form of energy within all energy of life, connected to all of life, manifest. It's like we are life itself, and everything around us is life, but we are like the source of life. So like we step into ourselves to communicate with everything within life. So when we manifest into life, we have all of these life chemicals within us. Like, we beam life, we radiate life, because carbon is the molecule of life. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's like the science of our avatars is showing you that we are the thing that's giving life to everything around us. We are life itself. So I'm trying to say that if carbon is the molecule for all life, and you, as a so-called Black Latino, Anunnaki God, the real name of your species, a divine nature being, a divine cosmic being, descending into this plane to be a divine nature being, because you're a cosmic being above all, and then this is just one planet above all the planets we can manifest into. And within this planet, we're on planet Kai, a plant planet. But when we incarnate, we have carbon in ourselves, because we are all of life itself, moving, walking, talking. We are the embodiment of life localized into one form. So it's like all of life goes into a body and then begins to walk around and be aware of itself. That's what I am. I am that I am. Because we are all I am. So this is why God didn't even want to, I shied away the I you are. So when I say I, there's two different forms of I. I can talk about I as a soul, and I can channel through the boundaries to break through the fourth wall of life, of the barriers of ego, to literally get you to realize we're all going to say I. So I'm the same I you're going to say. And so when I said I am that I am, I was literally trying to get you to understand that I am that I am. One, I was saying that I am, like I am, I truly am, I am, and that will never break. That is like a divine echo, like I am proclaiming my divinity. I was saying I am, to ripple out into everything and carve it into the essence of life, into the universe, right? But also when it was said that I am, it was also getting at the fact of I am before you become anything following that term. So God is the pure I am before I am becomes I am.